a horrible game that I find to be fun that other people don't. NES Simpsons games. Radioactive Bart versus Radioactive Man, and then there's Bart versus Space Mutants, both horrible. There's another one too, like Around the World or something, also a very horrible game. But it's The Simpsons, man, and it's the 80s, early 90s, and this is what was that? Well, there's some Simpsons games on Sega Genesis too, like it was Bart's Nightmare or something, I think. It's trash. You got like mailboxes that chase you, and I mean it's all dreams, obviously, and like it touches on like Indiana Jones, touches on Godzilla. Man, allergies are rough. Say no more. Bartman. Love it. Love it. Bartman. Batman is such an iconic character for so long. God, dude, I haven't played this in probably 20 years. Easily 20 years. Oh no. I want to say I borrowed it from somebody. That's what it was. I had Ninja Turtles 2, and one of the kids I went to school with wanted to borrow it. I borrowed this from him, and he asked if he could keep that one, and I keep this, and I was like, nah, that is not gonna replace my Ninja Turtles, dude. Unacceptable. But he knew what a turd it was, so he was like, oh man, if I can trade somebody. I eventually did trade him this for I think Bases Loaded, some super crummy baseball game. Got some random dude hanging out at the junkyard. What's lame? That stinks. I landed on it. Yeah, hit detection on this is trash. Like, controls are hot garbage, dude. Like, dang it. Yeah, controls are trash. Controls are better on this than they are versus the Space Mutants, but still not great. Yeah. I mean, all the sounds are there though. Like all the Simpsons and 80s and early 90s sounds, they're all there. Like the fall sound, I mean everything, dude. So I mean, nostalgia wise, this game is awesome. Like, right, I remember playing this. I remember when I borrowed it from the dude at school. I had a blast because it wasn't a game I had. It wasn't a game I was gonna get. The noises and sounds are stuck in my head, which is what you want. Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, see, that should have. Dang it. See? That wasn't. Yeah, I traded this for the bases loaded game that I think I got from Funko Land for 99 cents. And I believe this game is fairly expensive now. Yeah, I went through this whole phase of like, I'm gonna get all these sports games and build a super collection. It didn't work that way. No, dang it. Kick the crap out of that dog. Let's see. Yeah, Bart versus the Space Mutants was cool, man. You put on your glasses and you could see the aliens. Dang. Let me go, dude. Come on, bud. I remember Bart versus the Space Mutants. We went and rented it. Me and my older brother. And man, I don't remember if I played it on Sega, on Genesis first, or if I put it on NES. I know I have played both, and they are both horrible. I think the controls on the Sega were a bit better, because the controls on the NES are disgusting. Dude. Let's go. Dang it. See? And you have to be right on it, dude, if you're not. Yeah, I want to say the Bart versus the Space Mutants was on Genesis. Because we rented that and RC Pro-Am. Okay, so how far over can I go? Nope. And if I go too far over to the right, then I'll fall and I'll die, and then, you know, back to Begin, yeah, see, dude, that was ridiculous. Did I mention that I am not good at games? So, I don't know if I threw that out there or not. Because if you're here for great game playing or charisma or stunning good looks, you're at the wrong place, my friends. Yeah, none of that. None of that. Now, a fantastic. Well, I've played like The Simpsons Wrestling. I wasn't a huge fan. And there's the one where you're driving. Didn't really care for that one. But the Simpsons arcade game with, you know, Marge has a vacuum and Homer has his bowling bag, and that's a different story, my friends. That right there. Dang it, dude, come on. That is an amazing game. And if you've ever had the luxury of playing it at the arcade, you know it is a whole different world. There's nothing like that experience. The arcade version of The Simpsons and the arcade version of X-Men, the big 4-player, man, unbeatable, untouchable, will steal all of your quarters. I don't even know what the X-Men, what the name was. It X-Men arcade, X-Men. But man, if you got to play it, you were there at a time of just pure amazing. Because The Simpsons 4-player arcade, especially if you were playing with if you were playing with 3 other people, man, woo, that was amazing. I used to always try to beat Bart. He had a skateboard, and he'd beat the crap out of you with a skateboard, which I thought was pretty cool. Marge had a vacuum. Homer had a bowling bag and a bowling ball, or maybe it was just a bowling ball. Lisa, I think, had a jump rope. I think she had a jump rope. Not worth the 20. Dang it. Not worth the 200 points. I'm telling you, dude, you have to be right on. Let's see. Yeah, the arcade that used to be at the mall had The Simpsons arcade. Big old 4-player, crazy. I want to say it was like $1 to play right off the bat, right? Like, just insane. Dang it. Now there's all these, like, you know, pay to play arcades. Like, you know, you pay 1 fee to get in, you play all the games for free. You know, that's kind of a thing now. You know, sadly, the games, depending on which one you go to, there's a couple that are nice, but, you know, half the games don't work, and a lot of those places have alcohol and have food. So what happens is you got all these guys spilling their drinks and their food all over everything, so half the buttons don't work, which is unfortunate. So I took the boys to one a while back, and it was half the games didn't work. It was $15 a person. $15 a person. Half the games didn't work. Half the screens were all, you know, burnt out. You couldn't see the screen. They had like 1 million pinball games, and I love pinball, but when I think pinball, I don't really think arcade. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it goes hand in hand, right? Like arcade machines, pinball machines, like I get it. It's not lost on me, but when I think arcade, I think Street Fighter, and I think you know, Mortal Kombat, and racing games, and the Simpsons arcade game, and you know what? I'm not even messing with that. You can keep all that nonsense. You know, a lot of these arcades now, what they're doing is they're setting up the they'll set up a TV with a switch and stuff on it so that you could play Switch or Xbox or whatever. Which, hey, great idea, you know, but that's also not an arcade to me. Dang, come on, dude. I didn't make it off the first stage. Lame. Lame. I have I don't know, man. I just have a mindset of what an arcade should be, and 50 pinball machines, 50 pinball machines, and like a merchandise department with like, oh, that's 80,000 points. None of that's an arcade to me. You know what I mean? 80,000 tickets and you get a keychain. And I know there's redemption. You know, like I worked in an arcade growing up with the redemption. I ran the redemption counter, which was kind of funny because I would just give stuff to people. Usually, like, you know, the girls from school would come in, but hey, let me give you that that 20 ticket Chinese finger trap. I do not condone theft. I'd make up for it. I'd get tickets. People, you know, people. What happened is people come to the thing and be like, "I got 10 tickets." I'm like, "Okay, you can get anything off that shelf, you know." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, man, never mind, just keep it." I do remember though, man, is it was at a bowling alley that I worked at, the arcade, and they had they eventually got popped for it, but they had these gambling machines. You know, like you see the guys at the gas station, they're chilling there and they just dumping money into this machine and pushing buttons like what the hell is it called? Anyways, it's a gambling machine, and they had those, and you could take those tickets that came out of the machine, and each ticket was worth $1. And their way to get around the whole gambling thing was, well, they wouldn't cash you out, they wouldn't give you money. But if you took those tickets to the front counter if you've won from one of those gambling machines, you could use the tickets towards like the pro shop for bowling, you know, bowling equipment. You could pay for games. You could buy food. You could buy alcohol from the grill, you know, the bar. So the tickets were money essentially, without saying they were money. And each ticket was $1. And there was these two ghetto little kids. I mean, just straight out of the trailer. Always dirty. Mom and dad didn't really care. Mom and dad, like, these were the bowling alley kids. You know what I mean? Like, those kids that are at the bowling alley all the time because their parents are at the bowling alley all the time. Like, they'd have no, like, shoes on. One was, like, 6 years old, running around in a diaper. It was the craziest thing ever. There was actually 3 of them, but 2 were old enough to run around. Just crazy, like, spoken grunts and noises, not really, you know, words. And their parents would give them, you know, whatever, money, here, go. And they would roam the bowling alley and playing games, and then coming up to the counter with these tickets, and just, you know, whatever, being kids. But man, I was at the counter one night, and dang, dude, one of the kids, the little boy, there's a little boy and a little girl that were running around at that point. He asked me, he wanted these Pokemon cards or whatever, and it was like 500 tickets, I think, for this pack. You know, it was even like, wasn't even like a real pack. I think it had like 2 cards in it. You know, it was like redemption tricks, you know. And he went over to one of those gambling machines and started playing the gambling machine, which was hilarious because he just put money in and pushed buttons, and it made its little sound. And I didn't pay any attention to it. It was right across from where I was at. I was actually doing homework, and this machine just starts freaking out and kicking out tickets, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, it stops. It does about 10, 12 tickets, right? So like $12. And he rips those tickets off and he brings them to me, and I'm like, huh, okay, like, whatever, you know. Like, you could buy stuff too, like, you could buy things out of the redemption area. So I was like, all right, well, I gave him half back, took half, which didn't cover the price of the pack of the cards, but I gave him the cards. And this machine kept beeping. I had keys to all the machines, so I could put tickets in, all that fun stuff. With the exception of those machines, there's about 10 or 12 of them. I didn't have access to those because that's real money, right? So the front counter dude's like, oh, I'm gonna go fix this, go adjust this. So he opens up the thing and he puts, like, he messes with it or whatever. And then a few seconds later, I guess it didn't give that kid all of his tickets. It didn't give him all the tickets because it jammed up. So when he fixed it, then it gave out the remainder of the tickets. Almost 800 of them. It just started kicking out these tickets. Went looking for this little caveman or his parents. They were already gone. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good.
You smell like a dog. You smell like a wet dog.
I'm sweating.
You're sweating all day, huh? Hey, guys. Sorry, 1 second.
Yes. Hold on, stop.
Okay.
They went to the store, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so the little caveman kid was already gone, and so I asked my boss, so, hey dude, what do I do with this? Like, he's like, well man, finders keepers, I guess. So I had all these tickets You know, they wouldn't cash them out for money, but I used them for food, used them for food, drink, and like, you know, if I wanted to go, I actually went on a date there, and I used at the place I worked at, because they used to make us pay for bowling, and it was pretty lame. But I used some of those to pay for my date and me bowling. Hilarious, right? Dang. Does that count as a death? No. Good. Dang it, dude. It did too. It set me all the way back, didn't it? Yeah, man. Those gambling games are crazy because you know, it's against the law. And I was in there, and the bowl, it used to close at 1 a.m. on the weekends, and 10 on weekdays, right? So, I'd work doubles, you know, I didn't have anything else going on with school and work. So I'd work doubles all the time, and I was there working in the redemption thing, and I see people come in, which I thought we were getting robbed. It was crazy because there was the doors, like right where I was, there was some big glass sliding doors, and on the side of the building, on both sides, ends of the buildings, are doors, and all these dudes come in, and you know, masked up, weapons, and they start pulling. There's people playing on these machines. They're pulling them out of their bar stools onto the ground, gunpoint, guns drawn. They start knocking. Knocking the front the front covers off these machines, and they're pulling out all the tickets and they're pulling out all the money. And I'm like, holy crap. And then you realize that it's police and another organization. They went in there and started smashing, and then they started arresting people. They arrested people at the front counter. It was crazy, man, because they were not having it. But I thought I was toast, looking to know what was going on. But they had told everybody to leave. They let me leave, which kind of sucked because I wasn't there to hang out. I was there to get a paycheck, man. But they arrested front counter people. They arrested people playing the games because they were gambling. I mean, it's all it really boils down to. Dude, I can't see where I'm supposed to be going. Where? Yeah, but I use those tickets. Dang it. Dang it. Okay, at least it didn't restart me all the way, right? Ah, you little weirdo. Yeah, man, I thought I was... Because it was, the bowling alley was right next to this super ghetto apartment complex. I mean, like, super ghetto. Like, these dudes would run in and steal the tip jar from the, you know, from the bar and the restaurant, run out. The police would never do anything about it. The police were, like, scared to go into this complex. These apartments used to be super duper nice, and they were, like, the premier apartments. And then the government bought them for like $1 and turned them all Section 8, right? So you had good people mixed in with a bunch of undesirable individuals in this apartment complex. What happened was the good people eventually just left because they couldn't handle it anymore. But these apartments were like nice apartments when they first started out, like multiple swimming pools, tennis courts, basketball courts. I think it had 3 pools, 2 tennis courts, 2 basketball courts, a YMCA inside. So you had a gym. It was crazy, and it was like the premier living in this area for, you know, adults with no children. Dang, is what it, you know, was pushed as originally, and then that changed very quickly, right? That changed very quickly, and you know, it became, like I said, Section 8 took over and just completely destroyed it, and you had all these undesirable individuals living there that should have been. You had good people in there too. I had buddies that were in there, you know, that lived there. So it wasn't everybody, but there was a good amount of trash mixed in. You know. Do your homework. Yeah, but I thought it was people coming in from there. There was apartments. They eventually tore them down. They tore down these apartments and built a Walmart, but they sat forever. The apartments sat empty. They kicked everybody out. Like I said, this complex is huge, right? They kicked everybody out, and it sat empty for the longest. Then they found out had asbestos. Excellent. They had asbestos, so they pulled all the doors off, and they had windows out, and they were tarping everything off, and there's people that were still staying there, and then you had like bums squatting in there. So then, like, it got even worse because now there's no power, but there was power to certain parts of the complex, and you had people living in these apartments that shouldn't have been there. It was pretty crazy, and I had to walk. At that point, my car was down for months, and I had to walk, and I'd have to walk through, you know, past and then through that complex to get where I needed to go. So you always had to be, you know, prepared, man. I'd have my headphones on, not all the way up. And then I was like, you know what, man, screw that. I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm gonna walk through here like I own this bad boy, and we'll go from there. Not smart on my end, but you know, when you're a teenager, you think you're completely bulletproof. Yeah, man. such cool memories being a kid sometimes. Makes me invincible, I guess. There's my map. No, let's go back, man. Ah, that stinks. I don't remember any of these. Very Mario 3. Grandpa, Landers. Dang it. No! Listen. My brain is mush, dude. I don't ever remember this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could keep... I wonder if it changes. Let's see if it changes. Let's see. So, Sideshow Bob, the fish, Grandpa, Landers. So the bottom right corner should be Flanders, right? If it stays the same, which I don't think it does. Nope. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it doesn't stay the same. Which that's kind of cool, I guess. Simpsons trivia. While in France as an exchange student, what did Bart spend most of his time doing? Bicycling Tour de France, working in a vineyard, trying on barrettes. Nope, that was wrong. What's the bowling ball of Homer's dreams? The stealth bowler. Dang, I suck. What did Grandpa Simpson finally decide to do with all the money he inherited from his girlfriend? Yep, I remember that one. Because I thought it was so sweet. Where did the Simpsons get their dog? Oh, the track. The dog races, yeah. Remember it Lost. After his accident when he was hovering between life and death, why did Bart get kicked out of heaven? I mean, that's kind of on board. He spat over the side, I don't know. He tied an angel's wings together. I'm feeling A or C. Spat over the side. There we go. There we go. Sliding puzzle. China sliding puzzle. Dude, I've always been so horrible at these things. Oh, you're missing hair. I don't think that's where that goes, though. Yeah, we're gonna get out of that. We're done with that. Let's go to the Great Wall. Dang it. I went into the wall. Skateboard stages are always pretty impressive. Well, who else has a good skateboard stage? Oh, Yo Noid has a good skateboard stage. It's crazy because The Simpsons is such a money grab on so many angles, right? Like merchandise and toys and DVDs and like such a money grab. Dang it. I launched off that one. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, video games, merchandise, clothing, toys. I mean, Butterfinger. Such a money grab. And I haven't watched The Simpsons in forever, man. It's sad because I think whenever things try to get political, I lose taste for them. Like if I want political, I'll listen to political commentary somewhere. You know what I mean? Last people I'm expecting to let's try this again, man. Dang. Yeah, I just, man, if I, like I said, if I want political, I'm not going to watch, I'm not going to watch The Simpsons, or Family Guy, or King of the Hill, or, you know, I'm not saying I have anything with political stance. I am, very political on a lot of things, so, but I'm not going to go to The Simpsons for it, you know what I mean, or, and apparently South Park is a thing again, which I didn't know. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know South Park was still even a thing. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know South Park was even a thing anymore, man. And then I saw they were making fun of Trump and a couple other people. I was like, I didn't know South Park was still on TV. Dang it. Your little shield is starting to make me angry, buddy. Dang it. Dang it. So I'm my own worst enemy here. Alright, let's see. My hands fall asleep. I'm so just out of shape. Oh man, he's just eating those, and he just taking. Dang it. There we go. Took long enough. Did this? Call slide whistle. Yeah. Simpsons was fun, man. Like Treehouse of Horror and all that. There's got to be a... So we'll stop on Millhouse. We'll stop on Millhouse. Nope. Stop on Millhouse. Not whatsoever. None of those. Okay. And one of the things that stunk about this was your run button was the same as your jump button. So like you had to push and hold the jump button to run and release it just in time. See, and I tried running and it didn't do it. Oh my goodness, what is going on, dude? No, we're going back, baby. Oh, lame sauce. Nope, we're not going back. Where we're going. Let's see.